Welcome back to Cryptography and Network Security. In this video, we'll be discussing about distribution of public keys. So under key distribution and management module, we'll be covering this topic here. So we'll be speaking about the public announcement, public available directory, public key authority and public key certificates. So if you're new to my channel, I have tried covering all the important topics of CNS subject, all the important algorithms. So do check out the playlist and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out any of the updates. Let's get started. So public key distribution is a very important aspect of public key crypto system because this will make sure that the users can securely access the keys and verify each other's public keys. So public distribution of public key plays a very major role. So here we have the proposed schemes. So there are four proposed schemes: public announcement, public key authority, public available directory, and public key certificates. So let's start with the first one, that is public announcements of public keys. So here user will broadcast their public keys freely throughout through email signs, email signatures, or the forums. So if you see the figure here, so user A, user A or user B, they are two separate individuals who are broadcasting their public keys, and anyone present inside the network can access their public keys. But then one disadvantage here is that there is no centralized control here, which makes it very easy for the attacker to make use of the public key here, to make use of the public key announcement and impersonate to be the other person. So that's what I've written here. So by sending false public key, potentially intercepting encrypted key and compromising the authentication aspect. So there is no centralized control, making it easier for attacker to forge PU public key announcement and impersonate another user. For example, an attacker can claim to be PUA, public key A, belonging to user A, and intercept the messages whichever has to go to A user. So this was about the public key, public announcement of public keys. Next, a slightly better we have is the public available directory. A directory means something which keeps record of certain things. So it is a trusted organization or an entity which maintains directory of public keys. So users can query the directory for public key of any participant. So here this figure is a directory authority which securely maintains the public key of PUA and the public key of PUB for user A and user B. So here users can securely register first, and after that if they want to replace, they can replace their keys. So here the directory holds name comma public key as entities. So here registration of the public key is done securely, and users may access the directory electronically via authenticated communication. So previously we had authentication problem here, anyone can forge to be anyone, but here that problem is, we can overcome that problem. This is slightly more secure than compared to the public announcements, but then again there are drawbacks. For example, the authority could be compromised here, and an attacker will access the directory's private key, can distribute all contents of public keys. Even this can happen, like distribution of the contents to the third party can also happen here. A slightly better model proposed was the public key authority. So public key authority is a centralized authority which will provide a higher control or a better control by managing and authenticating the public keys. So this method enhances the security of public key distribution by establishing authority which provides tighter control and managing the authenticity in public keys from a directory. So here we have the figure 14.12, which tells us about the public key distribution scenario. So this works the secure protocol for public key distribution between two parties, user, initiator and responder A and B. So they are making use of public key authority PKA here. So firstly, initiator A is the user who wants to communicate securely with B, and on this side we have B, responder B, who will get the message from A, and we have public key authority, that is PKA, which is a trusted central authority which will facilitate the distribution of public keys. So first step is A will send a timestamped request. So we have request and timestamp here. So request and timestamp is sent to PKA asking for B's current public key. We are asking for PUB from PU uh, this public key authority. This timestamp T1 will ensure that the request is fresh and it is not a replayed message. Next, now public key authority PKA will give the response back. So this response will be in encrypted format, and we have private key PR auth. So PR auth is the private key of PKA. Okay. So private key of PKA will be there, and the response will contain PUB firstly. PUB is B's public key, and then the request. So this is a copy of the original request for verification purpose. We are sending it back, and then we have T1 timestamp to confirm that it is fresh or confirm the freshness. So here A uses the PKA's public key PU auth. So A uses the PU auth to decrypt this message, the second message which we have got, decrypt the response, verifying that it is originated from the PKA and has not been tampered by a third person. Now A, after that, A will encrypt a message and send it to B. So A will use PUB. So A will use the public key of B by telling that only B has the authority to decrypt this particular message. It will contain A's identity, letting B know that who is sending the message to him or who is contacting him. And there is N1. N1 is nonce, a random nonce which is generated by A to uniquely identify this particular session. After the message is sent, now responder is here. Responder has got the message from A. So he will request B requests A's public key from the public key authority. So B will send a timestamped message having request and T2 telling public key authority to give the current A's current public key, that is PUA is being requested here. So once PUA is being requested here, now PKA will send a proper response. PKA will tell what is A's public key to B. And how will that happen? So it will be in encrypted format using the private key PR auth of PUA, PR private key of the public key authority, and it will comprise of PUA, that is A's identity, response. This is the response. Then we have request here. So this is a copy of B's original request for verification purpose. Then we have T2. T2 is the timestamp to confirm the freshness. So here B will make use of PKA's PU auth. Because we are sending PR auth here, B will make use of PU auth to decrypt this particular message, the fifth message, and verify its authenticity. Now after that, B will send a response back to A. So B verifies A's identity and B sends a message with PUA telling that only A can decrypt it. Public key of A tells that only A can decrypt it. Now we have two parts here, N1 and N2. N1 is the nonce one. So nonce one was received by was sent from A, right? So in the step 3, so this will tell that B has decrypted and understood what is A's message here, and N2 will tell the new nonce generated by B will tell or will confirm its identity with A. After that, A has now understood that B has sent the message. So now A will encrypt N2 by making use of PUB here and send it back to B. So we have encrypted PUB and we have N2 here. So this step will ensure that only A has the access to PUB, right, can respond properly or correctly. So here we can say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps are all distribution of PUA, PUB in by making use of this PKA. But coming to step 6 and step 7, no, here we are performing the mutual authentication by making use of nonces N1 and N2. So that is how the entire public key distribution scenario works with the presence of public key authority. So here I have written down all the points. Next, speaking of the advantages now. First one is authenticity. So by making use of public key authority, we ensure that public keys are authentic and they belong to either A or B, whichever are being claimed here, they belong to that. Then freshness. By making use of N1 and N2, timestamps T1 and T2, we prevent the relay attacks, so it is fresh. Then mutual authentication. Again, step 6 and step 7, make sure that mutual authentication is addressed for both user A and user B. Then secure key distribution is public key authority will act as an intermediate between A and B and ensure that the keys are safely exchanged. So yeah, this was all about the public key authority. Next, we have public key certificates. So public key certificates is in this method we use certificate to exchange the keys without the need to contact the public key authority every time. So if you want to share the certificates, you need not contact the public key every time. This was happening till step 4 here, right? Step 5 here. But in this case, we need not do that here. Okay, a certificate consists of public key, an identifier of key owner, and a digital signature from a trusted third party, which is called as certifying authority, CA. So users can access these certificates from certifying authority and then share it with others, while the receivers can then verify the certificate using the certifying authority's public key. So example is X.509 standard, which is commonly used to define the format and authentication protocols for certificates. So in upcoming videos, we'll be studying this particular standard in detail. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and subscribe so that you don't miss out any of the updates. So here we have the figure 14.13, which speaks about the exchange of public key certificates. So here we have, firstly we have the certifying authority here, CA, who is a third party that will issue certificate to users. CA will have a pair of keys. CA will have the private authority, which is used to sign the certificates, and we have PU authority, PU auth, public key, which is known to everyone, and this is used to verify the authenticity of the certificate. Next, after this we have two participants A and B here. So A has public key PUA and private key PRA, and B has public key PUB and PRB as private key. So the first step is participant A or user A will request a certificate. So he'll request a certificate from CA, certifying authority. A will submit its public key PUA and identity IDA to CA. Okay, after that CA will issue a certificate back. Certifying authority will now send a response back. So the certifying authority will issue a certificate here. CA is the certificate which is being issued. So this certificate is encrypted and it can be decrypted using the PR auth, that is the certifying authority's private key. This will ensure that the certificate is signed by the certifying authority. So the response will comprise of the timestamp T1, which will indicate when the certificate was issued. Then we have IDA, which will tell what is the identity, and we have PUA. PUA is A's public key. After getting the certificate, now it holds the same for B also. So first B will submit its public key PUB, and along with that it will also give the identity of B to C, a certifying authority. After that, certifying authority will give the certificate, which is CB, which will be encrypted, and it can be decrypted by using the which comprises of PR auth, that is private key of the CA, and the content here or the response here comprises of T2. T2 is the timestamp for B certificate, and then we have identity of B, and PUB is the B's public key. Now that I have received the CA here, certifying authority here, and certifying authority here, I am done with obtaining the certificates from certifying authority. Now I will do exchanging of these certificates. Okay, so first A will send A will send his certificate to B. A's certificate is CA, right? So after sending that, B will decrypt the CA using CA's public key firstly, and P auth to further extract the content. So here we make use of PR auth is there, so we make use of P auth to extract this content further. So B will verify that firstly certificate was issued from the certifying authority, that is first thing, and after that he'll check if the T1 timestamp is current timestamp or not. He'll check the identity, who has sent it, IDA has sent it, and he'll see PUA is there, that is A, but it will tell that A's authentic public key is present, and after that he'll send his certificate. B sends his certificate to A. So at this place, A will decrypt the CB certificate of B using the CA certifying authority's public key. Again, P auth, because here we are made use of PR auth. Here we'll make use of public key auth, which will check if this T2 is the timestamp, which is current timestamp or not, and it will check IDB. IDB matches the identity of B or not, and it will check PUB. PUB is B's authentic public key or not. So here basically we are proceeding in three steps. First step is to issue the certificate. Then we are performing the verification, and only after that the communication is established. So along with that, even the timestamps are being used here, T1 and T2, which will tell that the certificates are current certificates and they are not expired ones or relay attacks. So here I've mentioned down all the points. Let's look into the advantages now. First one is decentralization. See, once a user has a certificate, no, they can exchange keys with others without repeatedly contacting or talking to the certifying authority. So if you see here, after getting the certificate, they are not contacting the certifying authority. They're just directly communicating to each other. That's what decentralization speaks of. By doing this, no, this will reduce the load on the certifying authority and avoid any bottleneck condition if it happens. Then next point we have is authenticity. Yeah, so the certifying authority signature will make sure that it is authentic, and yeah, the receiver or the user can use it without any second thoughts. Then we have currency. So timestamps are used here to tell that they are not outdated. Then we have scalability. It'll like these certificates allow, like, we can use these certificates over a large network, and we can distribute the keys securely without requiring real-time access to the certifying authority. So here drawbacks are, first one, certified certificates have limited lifespan, requiring frequent renewals, and it requires user to trust the certifying authority. So this is one of the initial assumptions that we come up with. We believe that certifying authority is valid, and there's no malfunctioning or there is no data breach happening here. And with all this, we go on further building the other concepts. So this was about the exchange of public key certificates. So in this video, we have tried covering all the important concepts of key sharing and key management. If you have any doubts, do let me know in the comments and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.